our next question from the Lorie Burch mailbag is from Lisa in Dallas, and Lisa writes to me, Lorie, I'm recently married and I'm in the process of updating my will and other documents to include my husband. There are 2 kids under the age of 18 my husband has from a previous marriage, and I wanted to know what your thoughts are on how to include them in my legal documents. Lisa, you have hit upon a very, very important matter, and that is when there are children from previous marriages. Because when you don't have a will, it is amazing the way that the default laws will work. And I'm going to use a couple that I dealt with not too long ago to use this as an illustration. That's Joe and Sarah. And Sarah, much like you, had gotten married to Joe, and Joe had a couple kids from a previous marriage. They didn't have a will. They meet, get married, buy a home, start establishing a life together. One day on his way home from work, Joe got into an accident and he passed away. No will. So the big question is, who owns the house? Who owns these assets? Well, the default laws in Texas may surprise you. Without getting into too many details, the bottom line is that because he had children from a previous marriage, they actually inherit part of his estate. The kicker is that when they're under 18, they are not old enough to inherit property on their own, so the court needs to appoint someone to oversee it for them. Well, guess who the court selected? Joe's ex-wife. So Sarah suddenly finds herself co-managing property and assets with her deceased husband's ex-wife. It sounds crazy, it sounds like a soap opera, it happens all of the time. And in fact, one of our local probate judges has told me in the past that the most common will challenges that he sees is when it comes to children from another marriage, whether it has to do with whether they're adult children or not. So it is very, very important when you have children from a previous marriage, and whether it's his, hers, or our situation, to make sure that you put a plan in place, because you can plan against that. There's nothing that I said as far as what the default laws, the way that they work, that you have to keep with. Another common instance that comes up in this, when there's children from a previous marriage, is it may be, and Lisa, this may be if your husband were meeting with me, Lorie, I want to make sure that if something happens to me that Lisa's taken care of, but I also have my kids, and I want to make sure that if something happens to both of us, that my kids are going to see a part of the hard-earned money that I worked for. And what you can do, and some options that these couples do, is setting up trusts, whether it's a trust that you would set up now, such as a living trust, or a trust that would come into play, and not to get too detailed, but the way that would really work is, let's say he passes away and he leaves everything in a trust for you, but what will happen is once you have passed away, whatever's left over in that trust, whatever was originally your husband's, would carry on to his kids. Whereas if he just left everything to you, it would, whatever was his upon your death would go according to your will, which you could change after he passes away. So there's just a lot of different options and things that you want to think about when you get remarried and there's children from a previous marriage. You may have the children, or it may be that you have children with your new spouse, but they're still children. So many, many things to make sure that you consult a professional about, to make sure that you have everybody protected. So great question, Lisa. Thank you for that. If you have questions that you want to submit, please visit us at our Facebook page. For more information or to sign up for newsletters, you can also visit our website. And to see other hot topics, you may visit our YouTube page and even subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until then, remember, if you don't have a will, the state of Texas has one for you.